The government is forcing these workers to come back to work and they're not going to get paid. It's an outrage. I wish they would all walk off the job. I wish every federal worker tomorrow would say, we are not going to do this and just not come to work. And if they did that for a couple of days, Mr. Trump would open up the government.
I'd like to switch gears just a little bit, talk about the government shutdown, man. I know there are people, I know Teal just lives here in D.C. This is a big contracting area that we live in. What are your thoughts about it? I'll start off just to say, I don't see this as a win for Donald Trump. I see this as a minefield for Donald Trump. At this point, if he gives in, I think he doesn't win re-election in 2020. He may also lose Congress. He may lose the Senate. It's that bad. I think his base is riding that hard. If he wouldn't have did the shutdown, he could have blamed it on the Democrats. But now that he did the shutdown, and if he reneges, then he looks bad. That's the way I stand on it. That's how I see it. What do you think about it? Anybody want to jump in about the government shutdown?
I think he made an absolute fool of himself, and he boxed himself into a corner. I agree with you. He's really, if he gives in, he loses. And if he doesn't give in, he loses because he's losing his base. There was a poll that just came out today, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but he's dropping even with white men. In many ways, I think he just did this as a smokescreen because so much is coming out from the Comey investigation, and he's in trouble. And it looks to me like his kids are, and I hope to see them all go to jail, to prison for a long time. They are fleecing America. They are hurting us. But what breaks my heart right now is the people that can't pay their bills, the people that have worked so hard, that have mortgages, that have children in college. It breaks my heart to think about the pressure these folks are under. And we're basically in a situation of slave labor. The government is forcing these workers to come back to work, the furloughed workers, and they're not going to get paid. It's an outrage. I wish they would all walk off the job. I wish every federal worker tomorrow would say, we are not going to do this and just not come to work. And if they did that for a couple of days, Mr. Trump would open up the government because he doesn't know how to open up the damn door for himself. He doesn't know how to operate an umbrella. So.
Well, unfortunately, to the credit, I have to mention that today they signed legislation, a bill passed. I think Donald Trump signed it where they're going to give back pay to all furloughed government employees. So that's a great thing.
But not the contractors. Think about all those contractors that
not the
work.
contractors.
They're not going to get any money. They'll never get their money back. They're going to go out of business.
So if they lose their homes in the process, what's going to happen? Is he going to pay for their homes too? What happens with their healthcare bills, their medication, prescription costs? We need to look at the bigger picture. He's more concerned about winning. And obviously, we don't care whether he wins or loses. We just care that he does right by the American people who are showing up to work every single day and not getting paid, and let alone the programs that are going to run out, SNAP benefits, childcare benefits. And at the end of February, it's going to run out. And the most vulnerable are the people of color. The most vulnerable are Native Americans. The most vulnerable are people who are, trying to make ends meet and need that little bit of extra cash to help pay for childcare expenses, to put food on that table, to help pay with the utilities that are coming because of the elements of Mother Nature during the winter that they can't pay their utilities. There are secondary effects that are happening because of this. It's going to affect our economy. It's already affecting our economy. It's affecting our health. Mm-hmm. It's affecting our nutrition, our children's education, the ability to fund the public schools, the ability to fund healthcare programs. There is something awry in our government, and it is immoral to continue this law. I mean, this shutdown for an immoral, unconstitutional law, and that's in violation of international asylum laws for these refugees that are coming here.
And to your point, it's not just the people that are furloughed, it's also the businesses and the people that rely on the people that are furloughed. It's like
either by bad trade deals or by the over-militarization.
Think about all the businesses that rely on the workers who go to work for the government to go into their restaurant or whatever. These people, these businesses are suffering. So it's like not just the employees, the federal employees, but their families and all the people that depend on their income. What do you think, Teodros?
Well, I mean, what's truly outrageous, by the way, is about 2 weeks ago, bankers, the same bankers that led our economy in 2008 and got away scot-free, lobbied the Treasury for an exemption so that the Treasury can process loan requests, mortgage requests. And boom, they acted. So they recalled workers to work on specific issues that were demanded by banking executives, right? So, and then I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, 85,000 IRS workers are going to be recalled and deemed essential employees so that they could take more of our money for services that we're not receiving right now. So this is, endemic of a government that's not accountable to us and is held hostage by corporate interest. And this is not. I know it's easy to just fix our attention to Trump, but this is wider than Trump. This is a systematic problem that has shown corporations and people that have a lot of money have been able to commandeer our very governance, and the rest of us have been nullified and erased out of the equation. So it goes back into I hate to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but we had to expect the systematic issues as opposed to blaming one party or the other, because breaking news, both parties are totally bought out and totally in the pockets of Wall Street. The parties themselves are corporations. Yeah. Anyone Absolutely. That says I'm not taking corporate money, the minute that they sign up to take money from the DNC, to take money from either party, they themselves are part of the corporation. So, this is the corporatization of America that has. If I could
elaborate on that.
Sure.
Yeah, because you brought a very important point that Wall Street or the bankers went and they asked for an exemption. Well, it's much like the government won't react or people won't get sued until the rich people are affected. So when the wealthy are affected, much like it was in the pharmaceutical case of this gentleman who was hiking up the prices, he got prosecuted because he went ahead and raised the prices to line his own pockets. And that's when he was prosecuted, because it affected other wealthy individuals in Wall Street. Right. So nothing will get done, nothing will change unless the wealthy are affected. Mm-hmm. So we have about 10 years for climate change, for us to stop climate change. And I think it's only a matter of time before the wealthy are actually affected by climate change itself, that they will actually put money and invest into renewable energy and sustainable infrastructure so that they are no longer impacted like we are, like Black and brown people are affected, like the poor are affected by climate change. They respond to pain and they respond to money. Yep. So inflict them with pain in different ways. And I'm not saying torture them, but also take away the money. So I don't believe in term limits. I would rather see Citizens United overturned. Term limits don't do anything. It just prevents us from achieving our progressive agenda. Getting rid of money in politics, especially corporate money in politics, helps them focus on legislating rather than focusing on raising money.
If we don't understand that our suffering is intertwined, and like I said, there's a connective tissue to the various injustices that we all are outraged about, then we're going to continue with the same policies, the same outcome that's been going on for generations. And so the key then at that point is it's the same thing that Martin Luther King tried to do back in the 60s before he got silenced, to bridge the divides and to show the poor white farmer in Kansas that his struggles and his hardships are intertwined with the poor Black mother in Chicago and all these various constituencies and constructs that's been imposed upon us, to rise above that and to show that we have these issues that we're all outraged about are actually interconnected, and that the only way to alleviate suffering is not just to make sure that the rich understand, because they have to understand too. And when they realize if they take away everything from us, ultimately that's going to produce an outcome that they do not want, to go back to the French Revolution. But beyond that, falling short of that type of upheaval, which I don't endorse, we're falling short of that type of societal upheaval, then we across the spectrum have to come together and realize that what goes on to one, what happens to one, impacts all of us. I think it was Normal that he said first they came after the socialists, I said nothing. Then they came after the Jews, I said nothing. Then they came after the gays, I said nothing. And so they came for me, but then nobody was around to say anything on my behalf. It's the same thing.
I think it's so important for us as voters to pay attention to. And I learned back in 2012 that when I used to faithfully give money to the DNC and to different groups within the Democratic Party because I trusted that the money would come back to my candidates of choice in my area. How naive of me. How naive. We have an upwelling of different organizations calling themselves progressives, like the Progressive Democrats and Brand New Congress, and there's several others out there. And I just want to implore to every single one listening to this, give your money to the candidate. Go to the candidate's website and donate through the candidate's website to make sure that the candidates of your choice get the money and that your hard-earned money doesn't go to line the pockets of people who are on staff and the people that they hire. There is a really sad situation going on within the progressive movement that breaks my heart.
Wow. Well, look, I'm not going to, Seema, if you don't volunteer, I'm not going to ask you a question about that, how you feel about that.
Well, honestly, and Portia, I think you mean Justice Democrats.
Oh, what did I say? What did I say?
Progressive Democrats.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so fired up. Thank you, Seema. Yeah.
Well, to make to your point, it's PACs get to choose who they support on their slate of candidates. So if you think that you're donating, for example, to Paula Jean and you're donating to Justice Democrats, don't be surprised when your donation is ending up to another candidate that all of a sudden the organization supports and thinks that their race is more viable. Because PACs, again, they get to choose who they want to support, who they think is viable. And your money that you just earned, that you spent hours, you're earning that money, has been spent on someone who has no effect on your state, your congressional district, at all. So I encourage people to think about what you're donating to. It's your money. You pick your candidate that you support and go donate directly to the candidate. That way they know how to spend their money, and it's most effective in helping their election and pushing those progressive policies forward. And Theodros, I love what you said. I absolutely agree with what you said.
We keep talking about presidential candidates, and we always go for the usual suspects, right? And so in a way, we get spoon-fed who we should vote for. We vote for them, and then we call this democracy. But the thing is, we have social media. We have these powerful tools that really could galvanize society in ways that really never in the history of humanity have we witnessed this type of power given to the people. It's sad that we then use these tools to echo the establishment. Why can't somebody like Portia? Why can't somebody like Seema? Why can't a woman that's working at Days Inn, or a woman that's working at some minimum wage, why can't she be president? Don't tell me that so qualifications or experience. This is the type of experience that got Trump elected. The type of experience that keeps perpetuating injustices, that keeps transferring wealth from the many to the few. These are experiences that I'm not looking for. I'd rather have the experiences of compassion, of empathy, of knowing what it's like to struggle with trying to keep up with their rent, trying to feed their children. These are the qualifications I'm looking for. And these qualifications are abound everywhere throughout the four corners of America. So then why do we walk in the lanes that are painted for us? Why can't we use our imagination and use social media and organize on behalf of somebody that actually is like us? And let me add just one more thing. Just because they look like us, they resemble our gender or our beliefs, does not mean they're for us. What are we supposed to believe that the overseers back in during the time of slavery were for their brothers and sisters that they were lashing? That's identity politics. Are we supposed to believe that Marie Antoinette the Queen of France had the interests of French women in mind when she told him to let him eat cake, just because, like, again, if they're just because they're our kin, does not, no, just because they share our skin does not mean that they're our kin.
Absolutely.
Paula Jean didn't get one penny, not one penny from Justice Democrats, but they raised a lot of money off of her back.
Movements like the Poor People's Campaign are dangerous to the establishment, but they're so important in getting that message across, intersectionality and joining people from across the entire country to bring about that change. And so I encourage people to get involved in that as well.